What's going on? Got Erik here. We're talking here today with Mr. Teddy Ball Game, Ted Boy Me Bob himself. It's Super Bowl Sunday. How did we get here? What's going on tonight? Tackling it all. Uh, Ted, welcome.
Thank you so much, Eric, for having me. Thank you for kind of helping starting this project. I would like to call a concept of friends uh, talking about their favorite teams, thinking that something's supposed to happen and it doesn't. And now it's Super Bowl weekend. In fact, it's Super Bowl day. We're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers battling out in Las Vegas, one of my favorite places in the entire world, and seeing someone going to, we're going to talk about, there's, with Taylor Swift, with someone's going to be probably dying tonight because they're gambling and they lose. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully not. But also for the fact being is that how the heck did the Kansas City Chiefs get here? And while the 49ers kind of found their way with possibly the next Kurt Warner.
Hmm. That's how you equate it. Yeah. Um,
Let's start off from the beginning, right? So let's talk about the beginning of the season.
okay.
Thus, the Kansas City Chiefs win their second Super Bowl
hmm
in the past 4 years. Off a hot start, we thought this team is great. They won pretty much won on their defense, pretty much being rookies, young guys, young talent, in a rebuild year. Won the championship. No one could beat them. Unbelievable. When you have Coach Reed, you have Coach Andy Reid, you have quarterback Patrick Mahomes, you have tight end Travis Kelsey.
Patrick Hill.
It is unbelievable what you can do with that trio.
hmm
And then we go into week one, and and there's people that believe the Kansas City Chiefs will win the Super Bowl again because why would they not? I mean, also you're gonna have the Buffalo Bills, you're gonna have the Bengals in play. Oh,
The
maybe the Eagles come back.
Jets were a huge favorite early in the year. And then that got squashed in 5 snaps. So yeah. Not to make not no pun intended on Rodgers' Achilles, of course. Um, yeah. Uh, but yeah, that's how you structure a roster if you're the Chiefs. You load up on young guys through the draft process, free agency, and that's how you're able to pay Mahomes whatever close to upwards of $50 million a year that you're paying him. Um, and you stay competitive that way. And it's credit our organization being able to do that. So um, yeah, there were so many teams fighting out for it earlier in the year. AFC was a very much a um, there were so many, like you could have had like 12 different teams in this of the seven playoffs, and I don't think anyone would have looked at you funny about it. But there were no real snubs playoff wise, and yeah, Chiefs storylines just wavered uh throughout the season really. Uh,
Let's get
from
into more like what we saw. So we saw
Yeah,
the favorites stay the favorites, for the most part. Well, excluding the Bengals, which are is a up and down season that ultimately ended in a missing the playoffs. But let's the first game of the season, the opening game Thursday night, the Kansas City Chiefs at home, the reigning champions, take on what everyone thought would be a very middling, would be happy to make the playoff team in the Detroit Lions, and they went in with, and what I think what is the concern was, would it have been a trap game with one, it's the Super Bowl, not no Super Bowl hangover for the Chiefs, obviously, but they did were going the game with Travis Kelsey, kind of the guys technically that Patrick Holmes was getting used to throwing to, was receiving core was not was still in a race exactly where he was going to go with the ball. So they're kind of a new offense. Defense is still roughly the same. It showed for the most part, it showed that during the first game, but the Detroit Lions beat them the first game, and then everyone's like, "Whoa, what's going on with the Chiefs team?" The offense will look the same. It's whether they're missing some pieces. Do they regret even though they won a championship without Tyreek Hill, it's going to the second season without him. Maybe they really do need him. All of this stuff has been a very big portion that's going on for the entire season, where really is not Patrick Mahomes' best season, but they're still winning games because of the defense holding a lot of teams to not many points. But the offense is not the same as we're used to, very high powered, throwing up 35 points a game, and it's a different Chiefs team. Also, the most important thing I want to note is that Travis Kelce was not Travis Kelce this year. He had a very silent, almost 100,000 yard year. Would not even think about that. It
Hmm.
was just a really silent one. Doesn't feel like he had 1,000 yard, almost 1,000 yards, but he did, almost did. Um, but then come the postseason, we have new characters, new teams. Some teams that were last from last year came back, obviously, such as the Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Niners, Eagles, Buccaneers, Cowboys. But we have the newcomers: Packers, Lions, Texans,
Hmm.
to
Browns.
be exact. Um, and we had a great playoff time. It's been great upsets. Also, the Browns made it again.
Hmm.
Um, but it was a great season and great teams have made it, and we've seen some great games, some blowouts, particularly in the first wild card playoffs. Go to obviously divisional, the favorites win, most of the favorites win, and then we get the conference championship. The team we thought were gonna win, or put it this way, America's favorites, or who America believed probably would win the game, either be underdog or even well, I guess the home team, did not win. And we were
Hmm.
not robbed, we were not given Ravens versus Lions. We were given the rematch of the 2019 season,
Hmm.
Niners versus Chiefs. And
Right.
in that midst of all that, there has been, and what I think that the most interesting portion of this is that as long as as long as it's the playoffs and you have a healthy Travis Kelce, I realized then and there, watching every game, I can never bet against the Chiefs. And I refuse to bet against the Chiefs if there is a healthy Travis Kelce. I don't care if he gets older. This man is money to get. We thought he was money for regular season. Um, that's why in fantasy drafts he was the number one tight end.
Has been
Sam
for years. Yeah.
Laporta was the number one tight end for this year, and he was the rookie. Well, the rookie, second year
Rookie.
rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, rookie
34th
tight end,
overall.
number one tight end was Sam Laporta for the Detroit Lions. Everyone thought it would have been Travis Kelce, number one tight end, was not. But in the playoffs, he showed that why he is the number one tight end, if not the one of the top two best receivers of all time.
Statistically, yeah, he could make the case tonight. I think if he has 80 yards, he can be the number one Super Bowl receiving tight end at least, and he's up there. I think he's already has the playoff record total in receiving yards over Jerry Rice. So yeah, what he's been able to do, nothing too remarkable. However, I will say, you brought up Laporta, you brought up Kelsey's stats this year. None other than Kelsey's opponent this week from across the field at the other position. George Kittle had actually the most yards of any tight end this year. Laporta had more points, touchdowns, so on and so forth. But yeah, Kittle, great season, always has been consistent. And we'll talk more Niners in a bit. But yeah, Chiefs have been 11-6. They went on a 6 game winning streak right after that Detroit loss earlier in the year, and Uh, while the competition wasn't all that great, you're playing Jacksonville, Chicago, Jets, Vikings, Broncos, and the Chargers. It's a little be desired in that stretch, but still 6-0 is hard to, or 6-1, hard to come by in that. Um, but I think the thing no one saw coming and why people wrote off the Chiefs midseason, big part had to do with the wide receiving core. And people saw on national TV like
Mhm.
the big MVS drop. I think I forget what game that was, or yeah, just
MVS drop that occurred in the Packers, when the Chiefs against the Packers.
yeah.
Big drop that would have. Well, that's one of the drop. Well, actually, excuse me.
MVS is known
That
for
was
plenty of
one of the
drops.
drops that happened this year, which has been a big problem that's been going on for the Chiefs, leading the league in most, leading the league in the, or wide receivers leading the league in most percentage in most drops for the season.
Yeah, and you saw like pretty much this exact same wide receiving core upgrade a little bit with Rashee Rice's emergence. People assumed, yeah, like it could only go up or if not the same, and it faltered. And there's it's not a whole lot to how to explain that except just scheme and maybe just the talent really just isn't there, and they figure out the scheme at some point. So the opponents did, and it's tough. I mean, but what the Chiefs are doing now, they're focusing on what they do well. Getting Travis Kelce involved, moving him around, making sure Taylor Swift's in the stands, um, getting Mahomes on the move. And Isaiah Pacheco honestly makes that offense, I believe. Without him, I don't think they're a fragment of what they are.
That definitely does. They're able to Chiefs are able to rely on their run game
Yeah.
to help them one move the ball, move the six, give Mahomes another opportunity to make a play. Um, you know, to every single time he's on the field. So it does relieve part of what the tension of their passing offense was this year. And with Pacheco being there, even a late year, sophomore year in the NFL, with
Seventh round pick.
roughly gaining, maybe in necessarily through half of last year, halfway through to now, pretty much gaining as the number one running back for the team, hard runner, north and south, and he gets a lot. He should get 100% a lot of praise for getting them there.
Yeah, absolutely you should. He just like I don't know why it wasn't brought up on I don't know if you watched NFL Honors the other night. Um Kyle Brandt's angry run segment. All he does is angry runs. He doesn't have any kind of just like, oh, taking this one off, I'll get 2 yards, whatever. No, all his runs are full speed ahead. They're He's a smaller guy, but he runs bigger. So um yeah, it's just impressive what he's been able to do. And um I'm expecting a Chiefs win tonight just to, uh clear it. And um people are betting 49ers. I like you said, I'm never gonna count against Mahomes. It's hard at this point
It
until I
was
see
harder.
true regression of the entire team for a long period.
What I would say is I doubted this team to make it this far because I saw what happened in regular season. I think every team is can will change throughout the year each year. So I don't think they're gonna be the same team they were the previous year because they didn't Travis Kelce wasn't really utilized the way I thought he was going to be. The man almost had a touchdown for every game he played last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same yards, not the same touchdowns. It just looks different. Then they went back to their bread and butter. Just Mahomes, Kelsey. That's it. Easy. And this man is 3 touchdowns away in the postseason for postseason record, the tie Jerry Rice for most touchdowns. If
Okay.
he gets two, He's at 19 right now, and he needs 22, 24, 20. He needs four, or excuse me, four to beat the record, which I don't think is happening.
That's
If
wild.
that did happen, then someone's going to be making a lot of money off of Travis Kelsey's prop bets.
That's way too many.
It's not me, unfortunately, not me. I got skin. I can bet one touchdown from Travis Kelsey. They need it. The NFL, by the way, NFL needs a Travis Kelsey touchdown because it would boost ratings for that one moment when they're going to shine it on Taylor Swift.
I mean, you
For the
never know
20
when that's
seconds they're going
coming,
to show
but yeah.
Taylor today, if not 30, if you have Travis Kelsey get a touchdown,
Not like they're struggling for ratings, though. It's you're gonna have 130 million people watching tonight. It's
I
hardly
mean,
a
it is, but like the look, there's a lot, you can't lie. There's going to be a lot of more girlies and Swifties watching this game,
sure.
and the girls will go crazy if Travis Kelsey gets a touchdown.
Yeah. Taylor's boyfriend has many a shirt save lately. It's it's a weird phenomena, but I'm cool with it. And uh, yeah, like I'd like to see it. I'm sure it'll happen.
That's
Just
another.
statistically,
That's
it,
a
it
different
happens
story.
a lot. Yeah, yeah, that's a whole other topic we'd get into. But yeah,
But in can kind of continue what I was going with. The fact is in the postseason they could just go to Mahomes Kelsey connection, run the ball, play great defense, win Super Bowls, and that's it. That's all the basics you need. We just saw them do it for 3 games
hmm
against one of the top, well, one of the better teams in the league.
yeah.
It's hard.
Baltimore
It's
was
hard to not
uh,
bet against them. I've been betting against them for every game, thinking that someone will at least get the best one for one game. It hasn't happened. And it's not happening now in the Super Bowl. I'll be surprised if it does.
I think a
So
lot
I'm
of
with
people.
you, Chiefs over Niners in this one. Kyle Shanahan not getting his first Super Bowl ring. Um, I don't expect Brock Purdy to not play. Like I expect not play bad. I don't expect him to play bad. I think he's gonna do very. I think he's gonna do fine. Um, I'm assuming C-Mac touchdown. Uh, probably a touchdown over the air for Purdy. If I had to guess who the wide receiver would be, I probably think it is if it's 20 yards deep, Ayuk. If it's 10 yards in from goal line, it's gonna be Kittle.
I thought you were going Debo there, but feel it.
If Debo gets a touchdown, it's gonna be on like a run play
Yeah,
or
reverse
because
and stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think they're gonna vary. I think this game is gonna be a lot of defense. I don't think they're gonna score that many points
I
because
don't know. I
both
wouldn't
teams are not made.
wouldn't rule out the Kyle Juszczyk touchdown. I usually bet it sometimes if I'm feeling lucky. Just the odds on that are wild, and it happens a few times. Um, yeah, Juszczyk's a great fullback, thanks to my Madden franchise, and yeah, I'm profiting off that right now. But yeah, um, it's I personally I want the 49ers. I just hate seeing Chiefs be dominant over and over again. It's annoying. And we're both from Youngstown, and we got there's some ties to the area with the 49ers. So I'm for them for that reason. A shallow one, but nonetheless.
It's fair. It's fair. I can't. I mean, I'm doing it for. Look, let's continue that the women just have a good year. Okay, the girls could have a good year watching sports, get into the NFL more. Taylor Swift's there. I'm not saying the conspiracy theories. I'm just saying let's wrap up this entire 12, 14 month period with the Chiefs winning. A new dynasty is erupt as
That dynasty is here
you know
already. That's
if you're on Taylor's side, you're winning.
you make three of the last four Super Bowls. That's and you win two of them. Like that's a dynasty, I call it. And yeah,
Hmm? some pundits that I watch are going to be are going to be insufferable. But you know what? The Chiefs feel like are the best team as long as they have the Michael Jordan of football of quarterbacks, if not the entire sport, on your team.
Right? Yeah. Again, it's hard to count on Mahomes. So, um, his one weakness tends to be like I remember that Buck Super Bowl. He lost, and the one weakness in that was the intense pressure Tampa was able to bring that year. Um, and that's when he had like Tyreek Hills and such. Um, I would say 49ers do have an opportunity there. Joe Tooney's out, uh, and between Nick Bosa, Armstead, uh, Hargrave, we'll see if Chase Young decides to show up. Maybe, maybe not. Um, yeah, that's where I could see San Francisco's advantage there. I think between Niners defense, Chiefs offense, that's the matchup to watch.
I think the matchup you would want to see, because I think like I still think it's gonna be a low scoring game. Not because like last year's game against Eagles versus Chiefs last year in LA, what felt different because these are two offenses that run different. They're different in the way that they operated. One necessary, they can both teams can obviously throw the ball. It's not in obviously the Eagles were more of a they're not gonna give up points and they're gonna run it down your throat if there's 2 yards to pick up. They're touch push, brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, just happens. This feels a little bit differently. This is
Mm,
where I think that the 49ers are really good at getting chunk plays
yeah.
going down the field. They can move the ball down methodically if they need to, but typically they're going to find ways to get their guys open. Purdy finds them open and gets into them. And now because also Purdy has unlocked, like in a video game, has unlocked a new skill of just like truly scrambling based on the conference championship game. No, just this is now interesting. Is it interesting? I think can he avoid the blitz because it's going to happen. Uh, Spagnuolo for the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to 100% be blitzing. Even on the other side for the Niners as well, they're going to blitz as well, trying to get a lot of pressure on their quarterback. I think these defenses can hold up against one another. Their offense. It's just that I could see the Chiefs. I could see if the Niners get the ball first, the Niners score. The Chiefs go down the field. They could score again. They score to come back 7-7. Niners to score again. Then we're gonna get a defensive battle. Then it comes to this. Then we go to the third. Then we go to the second half, and then now we're gonna see the Niners. Then we're gonna see a lot of field goals. Not a lot, but we're gonna see a few. I could see like three field goals happening in this game. Will it come down to a field goal? I mean, it's not gonna be the last play. I assume there's gonna be a touchdown,
All I'm saying the last two Super
late
Bowls have been
touchdown
decided by
from
three
Patrick
points.
Mahomes.
Last two Super Bowls have been decided by exactly 3 points. So very well could be. Hmm.
I don't think the blowout is gonna occur. I just think it's gonna be a very close game where the person who scores, I don't know, let's say if someone can score 30 in this game, you're probably going to win the game. But I think probably if I had but pessimistically, if you score 27, I think you're probably going to win the game. I think it's not going to come down to, I think a few touchdowns each team or two touchdowns each team. Maybe an extra touchdown for someone else, and then someone else is going to get like three or four field goals, and that's how the game's going to end.
Yeah, that's a good analysis of most like elite teams and their game
Mhm.
scripts they usually follow. What else are you excited for about tonight? Any commercials, halftime show?
I'm excited for one, yesterday I found my what now is my go-to Super Bowl beer.
Hmm.
Yingling Hershey's Porter, not sponsored. Um, but it is now my go-to beer for Super Bowls now. I just picked up a 12, well, two 6 axes from the local liquor beer store. And I'm doing that. Plus, we're probably gonna get Uptown Pizza. So that's gonna be fun. Some pepperoni rolls.
Hmm.
Um, to eat that. But I also think when it comes to commercials, I'm excited for all of them. Um, I can't wait to get a deep dive from later from one of my favorite content creators who's going to be making a review of all the Super Bowl commercials this year. But I'm more excited for Super Bowl commercials than the actual game because once it gets to the fourth quarter, then like I can't keep my eyes off of it. Most commercials that exist are probably going to be played more likely for between the first three. The fourth quarter is just going to be more. Let's focus on the game. Let's find a
Yeah.
winner. Super Bowl also for the Super Bowl performance. I mean, it's Usher. I know Usher songs. It's gonna be good, but it's like, when's the last time you thought to yourself like, well, I think the weekend's the last time I was like excited to see the performance. Um, Usher is probably now in watching the games is one of my favorite top three performances I'm excited for
Hmm.
because we grew up with we grew up with Usher.
Hasn't
What are
exactly
you
been
most excited for?
he hasn't exactly been all that pop culturally relevant in the last 15 years or so though. So like people ponder like I saw a lot of feedback just online of like why Usher? Why now? It just seems
I think the
you come off from Rihanna of last year, and that's like one of the biggest, most hyped up halftime performances of all time. And like whether she delivered on it, you could debate, but um like yeah, then it's like Usher, like, oh, that's I haven't heard that name in a while, but okay, I guess. Yeah, I bet he'll put on a good show. I saw him at Cedar Point in 2017, and yeah, he oozes the kind of confidence like I want to be Usher. Like it's a good thing. And excited for Deadpool 3 trailer, hopefully tonight and all the commercials. So yeah.
That's fair. All right, it looks like we are out of time for today. 100% believe it, but we'll probably cover this once the game's over and next week. And that's it. That's me for me from Teddy Ball Game.
Yeah.
Eric, you have any final words?
Yeah, I'm excited for tonight and honestly been deep diving into draft stuff lately, more than like any thoughts of Super Bowl. So yeah, well ahead on
Definitely.
yeah, well on that, and we can talk all next couple months about that going forward. So cool. Uh, but yeah, I say that's about it for the day. Uh, Ted, thanks for getting this idea, wanting to do it. Um, we'll convene at another time. Sound good?
Of course, definitely. We'll 100% hit the draft because I am excited for the new teams that are going to happen. So until then, until the next time we meet, maybe we'll have more people eventually, but that's it.
Nice. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and yeah, have fun watching Super Bowl tonight.